while we know that Bungie changed the direction of Marathon after multiple delays and they've fixed up the gameplay, there's still a lot of backlash surrounding this title. And now that we have the official release date for March 5th and it's going to be $40, a lot of gamers are pointing and laughing and saying, I hope you're planning on paying me, otherwise I won't be playing it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it is crazy to me that we went from the original Marathon to this new modern version. It used to be a competitor to System Shock, and now it's like they've completely changed the direction, but they wanted to still use the name Marathon to hopefully bank off of nostalgia, which is just a really bad look, and they should have called it something different. It wouldn't be facing nearly as much backlash as it is, but they have announced that the release date is March 5th. It's going to be launching for $40, and while it is doing pretty good on the Steam pre-order charts as of right now, I still don't think that this is going to actually come out and be some sweeping success because there are still a lot of red flags. There's a lot of people who are still extremely skeptical. And yes, maybe it will come out. Maybe it will actually be really fun and we can put our faith back into Bungie. And I would love for that to happen. But do I think it's going to? No. In my opinion, it still looks like it's got a lot of problems, though. Sony definitely has put their foot down. I've talked about it a few times over the past couple of months, but it seems that internally Sony is going through some major changes. They are telling their developers to basically get their shit together. They have let go of studio leads. They've tried to shift leadership to people who might actually make them money. And with Marathon, we know that they had delayed it multiple times or indefinitely, and that they have shifted the direction of it. Will it be enough, though? Who knows? The comments so far are definitely not positive. Charging $40 for a game nobody asked for while Destiny 2 players are still waiting for content. Yeah, Destiny 2 is dead at this point, so that's why they're sort of moving to greener pastures. They're trying to get another game off the ground, and they are hoping it's going to be Marathon. The $40 price point is a bold shift from the free-to-play model. Now, I don't mind studios charging $40 for a high-quality product if there's not going to be, like, predatory microtransactions, but at the same time, we do know that when it comes to $40 games, it's very hit or miss. Look at Concord, right? They tried to charge $40 for that, and it was a complete and utter failure. While on the flip side, you have Arc Raiders being the same price and not doing spectacularly. So this is usually the price point that games are put at when they're not exactly sure how big it's going to turn out to be. With Concord, Sony obviously was hoping it was going to be massive and that a lower price would be more people buying it, but it still was too expensive. Same vibes, and then it's Concord. $40, Concord 3, dead on arrival. I don't think it's actually going to do as bad as Concord. I don't think it's going to be shut down 2 weeks after release, but I also don't think that it's going to be the next Arc Raiders. The real competition to Highguard, which will shut down faster. I'm not even convinced that Highguard is going to release next week. I think that it is crazy. They got the prime spot at the Game Awards, even if it was up to Jeff and his team's discretion, and then they haven't made any follow-up posts on social media. Zero confidence in this studio, zero confidence that this game is actually going to come out. For the free would have been better, and it will shut down forever on March 19th. I'm still playing Concord, though. I have a bad feeling about this one, and the trailer that they had just recently put up is actually not getting negatively ratioed, which I suppose is a very good sign for them. It's got 60K views in 3 hours, 7.3K likes to 1.1K dislikes, but we're still talking about quite a few dislikes, though. Yeah, I mean, it definitely is many more likes, and maybe this is a good sign for them. Only time will tell. Just because something gets a lot of likes or even a lot of dislikes doesn't mean that it is going to be a massive success or a massive failure. It only will be decided when the game releases and we find out sales numbers and we actually see player counts. Here's another post that they made about the game. This will be shut down in about 6 months. This looks insane. Somebody said, screw the haters. You can catch me playing Marathon on March 5th. March 5th, locked in, pre orders live. It is time. Though, yeah, we still have quite a few people saying this is gonna shut down and it looks like trash. So I had talked about this back in August when the announcement was made, but the Bungie CEO had retired, and from what we understand, it was very quickly. Like, this wasn't a decision that had been made 2 years ago, and he was slowly being phased out. It happened in the span of a couple of months, and well, this could be a big reason why Marathon is so different now, because a new CEO was put in, Destiny 2 is obviously dying, Marathon's supposed to be their next big game, and they decided internally we need to make some major changes and we need to make them quickly because they probably saw the backlash months ago when the plagiarism situation was going on, and they most likely had to pay that artist a lot of money. And then you had the trailers being ratioed, and they sat down and were like, if we want this to have a fighting chance, we need to change it drastically. And we saw that he retired with Destiny 2 sentiment at an all-time low and pressure from Sony growing. Parsons decided it was time to pass the torch and head for an exit. He had a long career at Bungie beginning in 2003 while it was still a part of Microsoft. He rose through the executive ranks over the years, helped shepherd both the Halo and Destiny franchises before assuming the CEO role in 2016. But 3 years after helping to secure Sony's acquisition of Bungie for $3.6 billion, he's pulling the ripcord on his time at the studio. Yeah, he probably got all of the money out of the deal, so he was like, okay, well, it's time to move on. I can retire now, and enough is enough. Obviously, yes, he was a big reason why Bungie has gone in such a bad direction over the years. Is he the only reason why? No, of course not. Though, if this studio can massively change now that he's gone, only time will tell. But yeah, I mean, so far, Marathon has been pretty rough for Sony because, again, the plagiarism controversy happened, then they delayed it, then they announced this major rehaul. Now we have the release date and the price tag. It's not being received as positively as they were probably expecting, and I just don't think a lot of people are going to show up to play this. I think during a time when games like Arc Raiders are doing phenomenal, that is going to keep a lot of people away from supporting Marathon, and I would also assume that the team behind Arc Raiders and Bar Studios has a lot lined up for the future of the game, and I think that they will, maybe a week before or even a week after the release of Marathon, they will end up releasing a new map and a big new event, and they will compete. And that is ultimately good because competition breeds creativity, and it is fantastic to see some competition in this freaking industry. We've seen the AAA companies sweating over the indie and AA successes, and well, I want to see that pressure kept up. So maybe these companies can go back to making amazing games again, especially when they've got hundreds of millions of dollars to throw to games. The word on the street is that Marathon cost over $200 million to create. So we'll see how this goes for them. Will it be as bad as Concord? Probably not, but will it be as successful as Arc Raiders? Absolutely not. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this important and informative, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.